This is K-Dog here, and we are going to be going into the mind of Kenny Powers. For those who don't know who Kenny Powers is, he's a fictitious character on an HBO series. Kenny, the best way to describe him is a baseball player who had a good run and was on top of the world, but towards the end of the career, his arms started going out. He started getting out of shape, and he was left the major leagues, but he's kind of holding on to his rock star persona because he lived the high life, but he had to return to his hometown, I believe in North Carolina, and he becomes a substitute teacher, but he still thinks he's the shit. Sorry for burping. But the funny thing I love about this character, and people that know me know that this guy is just like fucking a god to me. Seriously, like straight up, I think this guy's like the greatest character ever. More so than Homer Simpson, who I like, more so than George Costanza. I just think Kenny Powers is the shit. But the coolest thing about Kenny Powers is, on the surface, he's just like this baseball player who likes smoking weed and does some coke and, gets with strippers. And that's him on the surface. But what I love about the character is he says some of this like deep, profound shit out of nowhere. That's my favorite stuff that he says. For example, in season 2, I think he starts off the episode, he says, "In Mexico, a man can truly get lost. And if you're a bank robber or maybe someone who's committed a fucked up, crazy crime, then that's a good thing. But hiding takes its toll. At first you don't realize it, but the identity that you tried to shed starts getting pissed and knocking at your insides. When dealing with deep depression and sad shit, it's cool to pretend that nothing's wrong. But that sometimes works. But eventually you gotta call a goddamn spade a spade and be like, yo, I'm fucked up. I gotta make a change." It's shit like that is just brilliant to me. It's just like so profound, like that this dude who's like, this pothead baseball player just out of nowhere says, crazy shit. Like the writers of that show, and I know actually the writer, Kenny Powers, the actor Danny McBride, which is cool. He wrote some of his lines, like, that good dude's super talented. And the funniest thing is his motto is great. I love this. He goes, there's an episode where he meets his long lost father, and they're just sitting around smoking weed, and his father says something. He goes, "I got 2 hard rules I live by, Pop. I don't fuck with the devil, and I never do tag teams with blood relatives." It's just like funny as shit. And then one of my other favorite quotes is, because he wears black all the time, and he goes, "I'm wearing all black. Outlaws wear black. Fags and coke dealers wear white." That's another favorite of mine. Okay, and this is another great one. "Well, it's no mystery that ass has always been tits' greatest enemy. It's almost like a Muslim-Jewish thing, but with tits and ass." Just like, every line he says is hilarious. Okay, this is another great one. So Kenny just, probably was doing his shit, and then he always gives advice. He's almost like a philosopher, and he goes, "There's an old expression..." I just laugh at just thinking about this stuff. "There's an old expression that has guided me through the dark valleys and hazy cul-de-sacs of life. Nut up or sack up." He's just the shit. This is funny too, when I think it's on season 2 or season 3 when he's briefly separating from his best friend, or Stevie, who I guess Stevie likes him more than he does in return. But he says, "May the white horse take you to the furthest reaches of man's imaginations. Gonna miss you, bro." Like, that's just some dope shit to say, to tell someone. And then my last one, I'm gonna leave with a good one. There's just like thousands of these quotes. Whenever I'm having a bad day, I go and read these quotes, Powerisms, and they make me feel better. Or make me laugh. Oh, and then I love this line too in season 2 when he's in Mexico, and then he gets pissed at his dad because he meets his long lost dad, but then he realizes his dad's still kind of a piece of shit to him, and he goes, "Crazy, here I grew up." Well, he goes, "Crazy, here I grew up a whole entire world away from you, and I end up exactly like you, a lying, cheating, backstabbing gigolo." That was great. So that was just Inside the Mind of Kenny Powers. This is weekly Inside the Mind with Powerisms of Kenny Powers with K-Dog.